This is the story of Yuan Go. He's just 19 years old, in his second year of university. Right now, he's standing on the rooftop of his school's library. It's not just any place, it was actually designed by his parents. But they're gone now. A tragic accident 3 years ago took their lives and left Yuan severely injured. Since then, he's been surviving day by day on medication. Now after that accident, something strange happened. A bunch of supernatural events started popping up. People talked about it for a while, and then, just like that, everyone moved on and forgot. But recently, everything changed again, his life, this world, it all flipped. As he's standing there, right on the edge of the rooftop, his friends show up. One of them, Li Chaolong, straight up asks him, "You planning to jump?" And not in a worried tone either. Chaolong actually wants him to do it. He figures if Yuan does it, he won't have to get involved in the mess that follows. Yuan hears that, and well, he decides not to jump, just because that would get his friend involved. Instead, he casually drinks some tomato sauce, and asks why Chaolong even came all this way to find him. Turns out Chaolong brought someone with him, his senior sister. She needed help making an edited clip of a monster attack and asked Yuan to do it. But Yuan? He told her to go back and study, and to stop wasting time on this kind of stuff. Chaolong didn't take it well. He was mad. This was the first time she asked him for help, and Yuan turned her down, which made him look bad. But hey, Yuan's got a point, right? Shouldn't students be focusing on their studies instead of chasing monster rumors? Yuan even suggested, "Why don't you help her yourself?" That ticked Chaolong off even more. He kicked the tomato sauce and then grabbed Yuan, mocking him, saying he's just a weakling waiting to die, and that he should feel honored someone even asked for his help. But here's where Yuan shows how clever he is. Remember the tomato sauce he just drank? He vomits it out to make it look like he's puking blood, hoping Chaolong would freak out and let him go. But nope. Chaolong wasn't fooled. He's seen that trick before. Still, Yuan doesn't give up. He stomps hard on Chaolong's foot and manages to break free. Chaolong, pissed off, tells his boys to beat Yuan up. But just then, boom, a dead body comes flying their way, crashing into the rooftop. A monster shows up, disguised as a human. Chaolong's buddy starts panicking. Apparently, there's a serial killer on the loose, and guess what? Yup, they just ran into him. One guy is so scared, he tries to bargain with the monster. "Let me go. I won't say anything." Bad move, bro. This isn't a guy you can reason with. The monster kicks him down, and then from his back, these creepy black tentacles come out, each with a glowing green eye. He uses them to suck out the guy's spiritual energy, and now everyone's freaking out. But not Yuan. Even after getting roughed up, he grabs a fire extinguisher, sprays the monster in the face to buy time for his friends to run. Brave, but dangerous. While they escape, the monster smashes Yuan across the room, and now he's falling right off the building. As he drops, he realizes it. Being a hero? Maybe that was a mistake. But at least now, he can finally be reunited with his parents. But hold on, this ain't that kind of story. We're not done yet. Just as memories of his parents flash through his mind, a spark of light comes out of his phone and surrounds him. It dives straight into his chest, right around his heart. And then a voice speaks. It's the 10th king, Jui, asking, "Do you want to keep living?" Yuan answers yes. And that's when the symbolizing process begins. A progress bar starts to load. His body glows. His strength returns. He lands, safe, no injuries, fully charged with energy and power like never before. Meanwhile, that monster is still hunting down the rest of the group. He's draining their energy one by one. Chaolong, surprisingly, is holding on the longest. The monster's impressed. So impressed, he wants to rip out Chaolong's organs as a reward. But you know what? Yuan shows up. And not the weak, sickly Yuan from before. He punches the monster so hard, it sends him crashing into the wall. And while this all happens, the symbolizing process hits 50%, and the charge process hits 80%. Right after that epic punch, the 10th king, Jui, starts talking directly to Yuan. He tells him to listen carefully. This part's important. Jui explains that if he dumps all his consciousness into Yuan's body right away, it would literally kill him. That's how powerful he is. So to avoid Yuan dying a violent death, Jui is going to enter sleep mode once the associating process is complete. That means after the connection is done, Jui won't be talking for a while. And since Yuan's body can't handle all that overwhelming power right now, Jui is going to seal the rest of the power after he uses just enough to keep Yuan's body alive inside the phone. His body will basically be maintained through this mysterious phone. Then Ju drops the big mission. By using this phone, Yuan will be guided to defeat the 9 kings, and when he does, he'll absorb their spiritual energy. And here's the kicker, Yuan has no choice. Why? Let me remind you, this guy's living off medicine. That accident years ago didn't just take his parents, it left him barely functioning. But if Yuan actually pulls this off, defeats all 9 kings, then the reward? A completely healthy body, a chance to start over and live a new life. Now back to the action. The monster standing in front of Yuan? He's shocked. He can't believe that this human actually has the power to go head-to-head with supernatural beings. He figures maybe Yuan got lucky and found a spiritual orb, but even then, most humans explode when they try to use one. The fact that Yuan's still standing? Extremely rare. Then the phone kicks in again. It activates the Eye of Insight ability. On the screen, Yuan can now see the status of the monster he's facing. Turns out, this dude is part of the Multiple Eye Demon Frog Society. His level is 2 soldier, and he specializes in long-range attacks but has low poison resistance. Pretty useful info, I would say. The phone can even sense the monster's killing intent. But of course, using Eye of Insight isn't free. It costs Yuan 1 point of spiritual energy. And right now, Yuan's only at level 1 soldier, but good news, his warrior class just got unlocked. Now it's weapon time. His weapon starts generating, going into construction mode. Yuan's hoping it'll be something strong because the monster isn't waiting around. It grows its fingers, stretches them out like claws, and launches sharp nails straight at him. But perfect timing, Yuan's weapon is ready. He reaches for his phone and pulls out a blood hammer. A giant, glowing red hammer made from energy. He swings it and reflects the nails right back at the monster. But just like Eye of Insight, this weapon drains his spiritual energy too. So every hit comes at a cost. Yuan doesn't stop there. He closes in, smashes the monster's jaw with that hammer, then powers up and delivers another brutal strike, slamming the monster into the ground. Then the phone gives him a new prompt. It tells him he can absorb the monster's spiritual energy. Yuan's feeling proud of himself now. He's thinking, damn, I'm strong. But he's not stupid either. He knows if he lets this monster live, it could come back later for revenge. That's a smart move from our main character. But then his body gives out. The strain was too much. The blood hammer disappears, cancelled automatically. Yuan's out of breath, gasping, drained. Right after that fight, the system popped up a danger alert. Yuan's spiritual energy had dropped to a critical level. But just when it looked bad, the system absorbed the monster's spiritual energy and boom, Yuan leveled up to level 2 soldier. And not just that, his spiritual energy shot past the max limit. That's when Yuan realized something big. If he has enough spiritual energy, he can actually live a healthy life, way more effective than any of the medicine he's been relying on. And now, here comes the real game changer. The system offered him 2 choices after defeating the monster, kill or King's Command. Now listen to this. If he chose kill, he'd get more spiritual energy. But King's Command? That's his passive talent. And once it's activated, anyone defeated by him has to obey one command. They can't refuse, no matter what. And if there's no time limit on the command, it stays active forever, unless Yuan cancels it himself. So back to the monster. This thing's in total shock. Can't believe a human beat him. He's talking big, saying once he recovers, he'll make Yuan cry, beg, whatever. But he has no clue what's coming. Yuan activates King's Command. Suddenly, a golden eye appears above the monster. Yuan gets all cocky, looks at him, and gives the command. From now on, every time you see me, you'll fall to your knees and call me master. And just like that, it activates. The monster's body drops to its knees, and he says the words, Master. Man, that's gotta be the most humiliating thing ever for a monster. Next day, let's move forward. After the whole incident, everyone at school, except the bully, basically broke down mentally and took a leave. But since supernatural stuff was happening all over the world, this incident got forgotten real quick. Nobody linked Yuan to what happened. So it's the weekend now, and Yuan's back at his aunt's house, where he's been living since his parents died. He decides to dig deeper into the phone that Ju-yi gave him, and even names the phone Ju-yi to show his gratitude. Now here's where things get tricky. Yuan finds out that even if he just sits still, his spiritual energy drops by 1 point every 24 hours. That means if it ever hits 0, he's dead. This system is both a blessing and a curse. Checking out Ju-yi's status again, he notices the badge from the monster he defeated, the Multiple Eye Demon Frog Society. That's when he figures it out. Any super being he defeats gets logged as a badge in his badge arsenal. Then he sees his current level, level 2 soldier. He starts wondering, what level is a king? And the more he thinks about it, the more it hits him. He's still too weak. And if he wants that healthy body, he has to defeat 9 kings. He starts freaking out, yelling at the phone, why not let others take out the rest while I just handle one? But of course, Jui shows him his energy just dropped by 1 again. Yuan's not having it. He starts swiping through the phone, demanding at least some hints about where to find the kings or any spiritual energy sources. That's when he opens a new section called Material Construction, and it has 2 tabs, Weapon Arsenal and Spiritual Trade. He clicks on Spiritual Trade, and here's what it shows. Light Crystal, costs 1 spiritual energy. Yuan sees it and thinks, man, if I had a girlfriend, I'd give her this as a gift. Honestly, I can't blame him. Gold Bar, costs 3 spiritual energy. And the most important one, Spiritual Orb, costs 10 spiritual energy. These are powerful items that give strength to super beings. To understand the big move Yuan's about to make, we need to get a quick look at the cities around him. So, he lives in Haotian City, also called Fortune City. It used to be just a regular city, but over time it grew into one of the biggest and most important cities out there. It's like a central hub connected to many other cities, super important for trade and transportation. Now, there's this old area in the city called Chihua, part of the Chihua region, which used to be rich in history. But for some reason, the development in that area stopped, and over the years, it lost its value and was basically forgotten. Yuan normally hangs around in the Dong and Bei districts. He's never even stepped foot in Chihua before. But now, things have changed. To gather information about the 9 kings, he heads into Chihua, even though it's packed with criminals and gangsters. Just yesterday, he spent 15 spiritual energy to materialize some items, like the spiritual orb, even though he knows spiritual energy is key to his survival. But this is his only shot at learning about super beings and the kings. So now he's standing in front of the black market. He walks into the first shop and tries to sell the spiritual orb. They're willing to buy the gold bars, but not the orb. Same thing in other stores. That clearly means these guys don't know anything about super beings. But after going through several shops, he finally finds one where the seller is interested. They head inside, and the guy offers 50,000 for the orb. Yuan pushes for 80,000, but the guy says 50K is the max he can offer and no other shop around would pay that much. That's when it hits Yuan. If this shop is offering money, that means there are other stores out there who might also buy it. That's a clear sign they know something about super beings. The guy even tries to contact his boss to negotiate better, but Yuan suddenly says no deal and walks out. Don't worry, this is all part of Yuan's plan. He grabs his orb and leaves, and the guy inside is clearly frustrated. Yuan walks out, satisfied that everything is going according to plan. Now let's look at what his weekend plan actually is. He wants to do online research and find out which shops in the black market have big sales. Visit multiple shops pretending to sell gold bars, and then use the spiritual orb as bait. If someone offers money immediately or tries to rob him, that means they know what the orb is. At that point, Yuan backs out and resets the plan based on the situation. So far, it's working perfectly. But now comes the next phase. While testing this whole setup, Yuan also wants to fully understand Juyi's abilities, to make sure there are no surprises later that might cost him his life. Yuan thinks back. Juyi gave him tips during battles, and Yuan can control it mentally. But in the last fight, he noticed something interesting. Other people couldn't see Juyi. That must be another of Juyi's hidden skills. Even though he's tested it at home, and even on the train, he wants to be 100% sure. So he takes Juyi, makes it fly above him, and watches as people walk by like nothing's there. Yep, they really can't see it. Then, Yuan uses the Eye of Insight, and guess what? It detects a super being is tailing him. But relax, this is still part of Yuan's plan. If someone took the bait, then it's time for the next move. He needs to lead them to a less crowded area to avoid unnecessary danger and not draw attention from other groups or super beings. He walks into an empty area with a dead end, and that's when the super beings show themselves. They demand he hands over the gold bars and spiritual orb. Yuan agrees, but with one condition: they have to fight him. They warn him straight up, he'll die if he tries anything. Now here's what Yuan planned for this exact moment. If more than one super being shows up, he'll ask them, who's the boss among you? And then challenge the leader to a 1v1 fight. After Yuan challenged the super beings, they were all cocky about it. Like, what? Our boss fighting a human? Let's just handle him ourselves. But nope, their boss steps forward. He tells them straight up, Don't interfere unless I say so. See, in his mind, if he backs off after getting called out by a regular human, he'd look weak. And that's not happening. Yuan uses the Eye of Insight, and boom, it reveals the boss's identity. Luo Qi, leader of the 49th Squad of the Ancient Deer Guild, which is part of the Nightmare Cat Group. Dude's a level 2 soldier, known for his agility, enhanced strength, and he's a close combat specialist. Not someone you take lightly. Then Yuan steps up, introduces himself calmly. Yuan Go, 19 years old, just a university student. That alone makes Luo burst out laughing, like, really? This teenage kid, a slave of the system, thinks he can stand against me? But Yuan throws it right back at him, mocking him and calling him little cat. That hit a nerve. Luo's stunned. How the hell does Yuan know he's from the Nightmare Cat Group? Without waiting, Luo charges in. Yuan pulls out his blood hammer to block, but Luo's way too fast. He's all over Yuan, taking advantage of every opening. And yeah, now you see why he's from the Nightmare Cat Group. His speed, his precision, everything about him screams cat-like agility. Luo's completely overpowering Yuan, slamming him down, pushing him to the ground. Yuan's barely keeping up. Blocking every strike is getting harder and harder. This is way worse than he expected, and now it's clear, things are getting out of control. Luo tries to grab the blood hammer, clearly interested in the weapon. But Yuan's not letting go. As Luo prepares for a fatal blow, Jui steps in with a tip, something crucial. Yuan can absorb spiritual energy from a badge to enhance his weapon. And don't forget, Yuan still has that badge he got from the Multiple-Eye Demon Frog Society from his last encounter. That badge can give his weapon the burn attribute. Yuan yells out to Jui, telling him to enhance the blood hammer. And right there, by using the badge from the Multiple-Eye Demon Frog Society, his hammer transforms into something wild, a mystic flame hammer. The second the transformation happens, Luo feels the heat climbing fast since he was still holding on to it. Instantly, he jumps back, letting go. Dude's totally confused. How the hell did Yuan's weapon suddenly get a burn effect? One of Luo's squad members throws out a suggestion like, hey, why don't we all attack together and end this fast? Bad idea. Luo snaps, slaps the guy hard. See, that kind of talk makes it look like their leader can't even handle one human. Yuan notices something though. His spiritual energy is draining way quicker now. Of course, more power always comes with a price. So what does Yuan do? He tries to bluff, makes it look like this new burn effect is some powerful hidden ability that'll destroy anyone who comes close, hoping Luo would just give up. But nah, Luo's not buying it. Luo hardens his skin, covers his whole body with a layer of fur. It's like a light, armored coat. Then he lunges. Yuan, ready this time, lifts his flaming hammer. He knew Luo would instinctively dodge the hammer, and just like he predicted, Luo shifts his movement mid-attack. Luo starts going in with a flurry of strikes, super fast, but Yuan's adapting quickly, blocking, keeping up. The only problem? The longer this goes on, the more spiritual energy Yuan loses. If this keeps up and the rest of the group joins in, it's game over. So, it's time for Yuan to use his trump card. He sends Jui flying up into the air. But here's the twist, Luo actually senses something. Even though he can't see Jui, he feels something's up there. Luo jumps up and swings, trying to hit Jui out of the air. But now, the wild part, he can't touch him. Luo might feel like he hit something, but it's also like he hit nothing at all. Like Jui wasn't even there. So now we know the truth. Luo can't see, can't touch, and can't land a single hit on Jui. Turns out our boy Yuan is actually way smarter than we thought. Even though he was in a tough spot, everything that's been happening, it's all part of his plan. See, now that Luo discovered Jui's presence, Yuan just gained something important, new info about Jui's abilities. Even if Jui is invisible to others, now we know it can be discovered, but not damaged at all. That's huge. Now Yuan can stop holding back and go all out. Luo, on the other hand, is now super curious about Yuan. He starts thinking, if he could somehow defeat Yuan, maybe he could make Jui his own. So what does he do? He takes the classic cat stance, then lunges forward. Him and Yuan start clashing hard, trading blows, blocking each other, reading every move. But now we move to the next step. Yuan's keeping his cool. He knows what to do, stay aware of the surroundings, don't get ambushed, avoid group fights at all costs, and if it turns into a stamina fight, use the prestige point. Let me explain real quick. While Yuan was using Jui earlier, he unlocked something called a Valiant mission. The mission asked him to enhance a weapon with an effect. And just now, he completed it. That got him 1 prestige point. Now, with that prestige point, he can exchange it for a powerful effect. But since his level is still low, he's only allowed to upgrade his weapon to second rank. Still, that's more than enough since Luo is just a level 2 soldier. So, Yuan uses the prestige point, picks effect number 1, and upgrades his Mystic Flame Hammer to second rank. Right at that moment, Luo's midair, and the new effect kicks in, injuring him and forcing him to retreat. But here's the catch, the stronger hammer is now draining Yuan's spiritual energy even faster. The second-rank Mystic Flame Hammer also gets a new ability, Destructive Slam, and this one's brutal. It delivers a strong burn effect that can mess up anything it touches. Luo doesn't give up though. He dashes back in, but this time, Yuan activates Destructive Slam. Boom! The area around Luo erupts, and he takes heavy damage. Yuan hits him again with it, and that's it, Luo goes down for good. Yuan then absorbs his spiritual energy, and just like that, he's fully refreshed. And don't forget the most important part, the passive ability. Yuan immediately activates it, Kill or the King's Command. This ability means that from now on, Luo's boss is Yuan. No tricks, no conditions. Forever loyal. Just like that, Yuan gets himself a little cat companion. Yuan even gives Luo a spiritual orb to help heal his wounds. Luo is honestly grateful. Dude just switched sides completely. As for the rest of the group, Luo teaches them a lesson, and now they've all submitted too. Yuan is officially the new boss. Now that they're under his command, Yuan gives Luo an order. Tell him everything he knows about the super beings and the kings. Then adds one more command. If you don't know something, go out there and find out. Now we finally get to understand how super beings work in this world. So here's the deal. Super beings are born that way because their parents are also super beings. At the beginning, they were just a bit stronger than regular humans, nothing too crazy. But over time, as they learned more about their powers and how to use them, they kept growing stronger. 3 years ago, something happened. Out of nowhere, they all got a massive power boost. And now, each group of super beings has their own special abilities. Some of them are insanely strong. The really powerful ones? They climbed the ranks and became the higher-ups of this new society. They built their own forces and basically made the rules. In this world, it's simple. The strong get stronger, and the weak, they get crushed. Now let's talk about the Nightmare Cats. They're one of the weaker groups. Luo, the guy Yuan beat, was only the leader of the 49th group under the Ancient Deer Guild. And within that guild, only the top 10 leaders, the core members, hold real power and know what's actually going on. As for the top of the food chain, that's the leader of all super beings. They're born into elite families and top-tier groups. For someone from a small, weak group like the Nightmare Cats, it's nearly impossible to even meet someone like that. We didn't get much info on the kings yet, but just learning about how super beings operate already tells us a lot. Yuan didn't waste time. He ordered Luo and the others to go back, gather more info, and keep quiet. Nobody's allowed to mention him. Now fast forward 2 weeks after Yuan defeated Luo Qi. All this info hunting and strategy work started messing with his normal school life. So Yuan decided he's only going to handle this kind of business on weekends. During the week, he focuses on school. While Yuan was doing push-ups one day, just casually training his body, he got a message from Luo. He found something new. Apparently, Yuan asked Luo to look for a certain store, and now he's got results. That store? It's under Group 9, and it's connected to the Ancient Deer Guild. Luo also let him know he managed to sell the gold bars Yuan gave him. But why was Yuan even looking for this store? Let's backtrack. The night Yuan beat Luo, he got a message from Chao Long. Yeah, the same guy who used to bully him. Turns out, Chao Long was asking for a loan. Yuan said no at first. He didn't want anything to do with him. But then Chao Long did something unexpected. He apologized, like for real, and begged for help. Chao Long explained that he couldn't involve his family because the debt collectors he's dealing with are no joke. They're super beings, not regular people. He even told Yuan that he saw him fighting that monster and promised to keep it a secret. After that, Chao Long just disappeared for 3 days. Now things start to click. That store Yuan asked about? It's owned by the Ancient Deer Guild, meaning it's connected to those super beings. Which means Chao Long was telling the truth after all. So Yuan heads over to that store and meets Qing, the owner. But he's not going in blind. Yuan activates his Eye of Insight, and that's where we learn Qing is no ordinary shopkeeper. She's from the Moonlight Witch clan. She's a level 3 soldier, and she's got 2 dangerous abilities, Whisper and Weaken Curse. Luo also told Yuan that Qing is the co-leader of this place. While they're talking, Qing quietly starts chanting her whisper spell, trying to make Yuan lose his calm. But Yuan stays focused. He tells her he's there to pay off Qiaolong's debt. Then he hits her with a warning. He's recording their entire conversation. If things go south, he'll send the recording to his friends and get it uploaded online. It'll turn into a huge scandal. Or they could make a trade. Qing is almost done chanting, but she gets curious. She asks what kind of trade. Yuan keeps it simple. He wants to know everything about her guild. Just when she finishes casting Whisper, she lunges at him. Suddenly, Yuan's body feels heavy and slow. He loses his focus. But hey, don't worry. Even with all that, our boy Yuan? He's not caught off guard. Even now, this is all part of his plan. After a while, Yuan finally managed to block that woman's hypnosis ability. The dizziness started to fade, and as he regained his senses, he realized he wasn't alone. Qiaolong was there too, captured and held as a prisoner inside their base, which turned out to be an old factory. Yuan himself was chained up, but his body had already become stronger. So just by trying, he was able to break the chain. But instead of making a move right away, he played it smart. He pretended to still be restrained, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He tried calling out to Jui, but there was no response. Even though Yuan could feel his presence nearby, he wasn't familiar with the layout of the factory, so he couldn't track him down. Meanwhile, Qing was talking to someone on the other side of the room, someone who was once again requesting 100 people. She was clearly irritated. Hearing that conversation, Yuan started thinking, wait, so the higher-ups are sending teenagers to these guilds? But something still felt off. He didn't have the full picture yet. Then, one of the captive girls started begging. She promised to pay her debt, pleading for her life. But these people, they're super beings. To them, money means nothing. Qing walked up to her and didn't even bother answering. She just started absorbing her mental energy, not spiritual energy, mental. That's when it hit Yuan. These higher-ups aren't just kidnapping people randomly. They're specifically targeting teenagers, sending them to groups like Qing's to drain their life force. Now it's clear. The higher-ups don't care about spiritual energy. What they really want is mental energy, in other words, human life energy. These people are treating humans like disposable batteries, sucking them dry and tossing them aside like garbage. Yuan was furious watching it unfold. Just seeing how worthless they made human lives feel, it made his blood boil. Qing noticed he was awake and started walking toward him. At the same time, one of her servants approached, carrying Yuan's bag. He reported that he couldn't find any recording devices, camera, or even Yuan's phone inside. But he did find some spiritual orbs. That's when things started to shift. You see, Jui was hiding inside the bag the whole time. Remember, he's invisible to everyone except Yuan. Yuan gave him the signal. Jui started constructing his weapon right there in the bag. And the moment it was ready, Yuan pulled out his mystic flame hammer and boom, smashed the two guards, taking them down instantly. The moment Yuan crushed those two guards, he didn't waste a second. He absorbed their spiritual energy on the spot and dashed forward, taking down the last remaining guard and snatching his spiritual energy too. Now, the only enemy left standing was Qing. She didn't hesitate. She launched a cursed projectile straight at him using her curse ability. But Yuan reacted instantly. He jumped high into the air and called out to Jui. It was time to upgrade his weapon. Jui consumed the Nightmare Cap badge, and just like that, Yuan's hammer transformed into the Mystic Velocity Hammer. This upgrade granted him the Agility attribute. And don't worry, the burn effect of the old hammer didn't vanish, it just got a bit weaker. But now with this new agility, Yuan moved so fast he looked like he just teleported, reappearing right behind Qing. Then boom, he used his weapon's destructive slam. Because of the agility boost, the burn effect hit even faster, speeding up the damage rate. The strike connected hard. Qing was injured, frozen in place, and that burn effect started eating away at her instantly. She begged him to stop, but Yuan had seen how heartless she was earlier, so this time, no mercy. Just as he was about to land the final blow, someone else appeared. A sword curse shot out, blocking the attack and saving Qing at the last second. That someone? Black Qi, Qing's brother. Yuan quickly activated the Eye of Insight. Black Qi is a level 1 general who specializes in telepathy and curses. Now it's 2 versus 1. But hold on, it's not what it looks like. You remember those 3 guards Yuan defeated earlier? He used the king's command passive on them. Now they're under his control. So guess what? It's now 4 versus 2. He ordered the 3 controlled guards to attack Qing, while he locked his focus completely on Qi. She was actually impressed. He looked at Yuan and said that his ability to control super beings was really similar to their own curse techniques. Then he got creepy. He said he wants to capture Yuan and study his body using his curse for research. While he was talking, the 3 guards that Yuan controlled rushed toward Qing. She didn't waste time. She used her kill curse, launching multiple attacks at them. One of the guards jumped straight at her midair, but Qi reacted fast and blasted the guy's face before he could reach her. Yuan used this moment to sneak behind Qi with his upgraded agility and go in for the hit, but Qi dodged it easily. No surprise, he's a level 1 general after all. Qing was still trying to hold off the other guards. She blasted another one, but he didn't drop immediately. Instead, he grabbed her and activated his explosion curse, sacrificing himself to heavily damage her. He gave him a cold warning. By doing all this, Yuan was officially declaring war on the Ancient Deer Guild, and even if he escaped today, the guild would hunt him down and assassinate him. But Yuan wasn't slowing down. While Qi was stunned and injured from the exploding guards, he slipped in and landed a fatal blow from behind. She dropped, and he absorbed her spiritual energy right away. That also completed one of his vigilant missions, earning him a prestige point. Qi was furious. He looked at his sister and said she was holding him back, that if it weren't for her, he'd already be part of the top 6th group. Then he powered up his curse and started firing off multiple cursed shots at Yuan. Yuan used his hammer to block, but these new enhanced shots were too much. His hammer shattered. She saw his opening and fired an enhanced precise cursed shot straight at Yuan. But Yuan had already made his move. He activated King's command on Qing. And just in time, she dashed in and blocked her brother's cursed shot. She was stunned. He couldn't believe Yuan could even control someone as strong as Qing. But Yuan wasn't done. He reached for his spiritual orb, overcharging his spiritual energy beyond the limit. Then he spent his prestige point and upgraded his weapon to rank 3. The result? He didn't just get 1 new weapon, he got 2. The Mystic Flame Axe with burn effects and the Velocity Aegis Shield, which boosts his agility even further. And with Qi's sister now under his control, Yuan's not just back in the fight, the odds are greater than ever. Now that Yuan hit level 3 soldier, he doesn't even flinch standing in front of a general-level super being. That fear? It's gone. And just look at Qi. His own sister is about to die, and he doesn't even blink. He straight up said they're not close, and he doesn't care if she dies. That alone shows you what kind of trash he really is. Then this dude takes it even lower. He uses his curse ability to control the dead humans who had their mental energy drained. He thought this would mess with Yuan emotionally, make him hesitate because those were once real people. But come on, Yuan's built different. He knows the dead can't come back, and wasting time pitying them won't help anyone. As the dead lunged forward, Qing started holding them off using her curse, and Yuan went straight for Qi. Thanks to his Velocity Aegis Shield, Qi's sword curse doesn't do anything now, it just gets blocked. And while Qing was still fending off those dead bodies, she was also helping Yuan in the fight. Qi didn't even hesitate to attack his own sister. That pushed Yuan over the edge. He slammed his Mystic Flame Axe into the ground and flames spread all around, burning the area. Then Qing charged at her brother. She tried to counter her, but she didn't stop. She dashed in close and used the explosion curse on herself, sacrificing her life to severely damage Qi. Yuan didn't let the chance slip. He came in with a flurry of slashes, finishing Qi off. Then, as usual, he absorbed his spiritual energy. But this time, something changed. Yuan was burning with rage. Qi and Qing, they were murdering humans without a care in the world. Their twisted logic, their sick standards, all of it pushed him past the limit. So this time, Yuan didn't pick King's command, he chose kill. And with that, Yuan's body surged with power, and then Jui appeared. The 10th king himself. He had 9 seconds before he vanished again. Yuan couldn't move, Jui was in control now. The countdown began. Jui started chanting, and once he was done, she was erased from the world. Gone. That move gave Yuan an extra burst of spiritual energy, pushing him up to level 1 general, and unlocked a new profession class, assassin. But to actually awaken that class, he still needs to finish his special Valiant mission. On top of that, this upgrade opened the weapon storage, meaning he can now craft all kinds of weapons. And that's not all. Daily and weekly missions in the Valiant Missions menu are finally unlocked. Plus, the spiritual trade system leveled up, letting Yuan use less spiritual energy to enhance his items. Right after all that chaos, Yuan finally snaps back and regains control of his body. And only now does he fully realize it, Jui had taken over him for those few seconds. Even though it was short, Yuan couldn't do a thing, and that frustrated the hell out of him. He made up his mind. Next time he uses kill command, he's gonna figure out how to keep control of his own body no matter what. Then boom, Luo and his squad show up. They've got good news. The mission Yuan gave them? Complete success. All those small fry enemies? Gone. Every security camera, every backup drive? Completely destroyed. But that's not even the biggest part. Luo found something juicy, a U-disc. On it? A list of people who received huge amounts of spiritual energy. And when I say huge, I mean even the higher-ups couldn't control that much. But there was one name that kept popping up over and over, Shali. Yeah, Shali. According to the rumors, she's the left-hand woman of the elders, and she's known as the funeral banshee. Word on the street is she's got horns and only super beings can see them. Regular people can't even tell. After wrapping up everything, Luo and his guys burned down the 9th group's factory to cover their tracks. And just like last time, the media didn't say a thing about super beings. All they reported was another factory fire disaster, nothing more. But this fight gave Yuan a ton of combat experience, and more importantly, opened his eyes. There are evil super beings hiding all around society. Yuan knew right there, and then he has to keep growing stronger and learn everything he can about the world of super beings, because what's coming next might be worse. So now, with the daily and weekly vigilant missions unlocked, Yuan got serious. He started training every day, and not just the basics, he started learning real combat techniques, working hard, pushing himself constantly. And you could tell, it paid off. His body got stronger, faster, lighter. Oh, and let me break it down real quick. Vigilant missions? They're basically like the daily quest from Solo Leveling. One day after he finished a workout session, 2 girls walked up to him. Turns out, they're Luo's sisters, sent by Luo himself to help Yuan with house chores and other stuff. But Yuan saw them and instantly started blushing. They're both beautiful cat girls. Yuan told them thanks, but no thanks, you can go back. I don't need help. And guess what they did? They opened their vests a little, trying to charm him. And yeah, you guessed it, that was Luo's backup plan in case Yuan said no. Yuan was overheating at that point, completely flustered, so he called Luo straight up. Bro, is your brain filled with dirty stuff? Yuan told him loud and clear, I'm your boss, not some old pervert. Then he even joked, try this nonsense again and I'll make you a eunuch. But later that night, Yuan was back in action. Like a straight-up Batman, out in the shadows, hunting evil. Anyone who deserved it? Kill command. If they were bad but not totally evil? King's command. And by doing this every night, he gained more combat experience and got used to all his weapons. That night, after defeating another criminal super being, Yuan finally got a lead. The guy spilled the beans. Funeral Banshee is hosting a night party at 8 p.m. in Yunding Park. That's right. Yuan's ears perked up. What is this demon with horns planning now? Funeral Banshee heads straight to her boss, Lord Qizhong, and yeah, we're not exactly sure yet, but the way he moves, he's probably one of the kings. She gets on her knees, apologizing that she couldn't find any clues about what happened to the 9th group. But Qizhong? He doesn't care. He brushes it off like it's nothing. He's here for the main event. So here's the real deal. He was the one who told Funeral Banshee to prepare this party, and what's the real purpose? Exactly what you think, to turn humans into a supply of spiritual energy. While they're talking, Qizhong's holding a bottle, and inside, some weird kind of bug. Don't worry, you'll find out more about those bugs soon enough. Qizhong tells her straight up, he wants 10% of the spiritual energy every week once this party kicks off, and he's not in the mood for excuses or any kind of negotiation. But Funeral Banshee's got a problem. During the event, Zhang's uncle and his security team will be there, and that makes it impossible to move freely or pull off anything without being noticed. Qizhong snaps. He tells her flat out, his uncle won't find out anything unless she tells him. And then he gets serious, unfolds his wings, that bug in the bottle. It spreads its wings too, surging with energy. Then he blasts her with a wave of power, throwing her back and warning her, don't ever try to negotiate with me again. Now we jump back to our main guy, Yuan. After getting the tip from Luo about the party at Yunding Park, he finds out it's going to be full of high-class people. And yeah, there's a dress code. So Luo, always one step ahead, buys him a suit. Yuan's a little suspicious though. He's seriously starting to wonder what Luo used to do before all this. That smooth-talking mouth of his has been working overtime. Right then, Yuan's aunt shows up. And she comes with news. The insurance money from Yuan's parents ran out 6 months ago, and the medicines Yuan takes every day? Super expensive. There's also some money left by his dad for school, but they can't touch that. Since Yuan doesn't seem too busy with school lately, she suggests he starts working on the weekends. But let's be real, her true reason slips out. She says it plain she can't feed him forever, and with his sister Xiaoyu getting married soon, she wants Yuan to help out with the expenses. Before she can keep nagging, Yuan just hands her a gold bar from the reward system. Instantly, that shuts her up. She sees the gold, and boom, she's gone. Problem solved. Later that night, Yuan puts on the suit Luo gave him. Looking sharp and standing right outside the building at Yunding Park where the party's happening, the same one funeral Banshee is hosting. And as expected, Luo's already in position, climbing his way up to floor 230, trying to reach the top. He even had his sisters and brothers stay stationed at the bar, ready and waiting for Yuan's orders. But then something unexpected, Yuan spots his aunt, his sister Xiaoyu, and her boyfriend entering the party too. That definitely complicates the mission, but as always, Yuan will find a way. Meanwhile, on the rooftop of the opposite building, there's a mouse guy and a horned girl watching Yuan from a distance. They're observing his every move, trying to figure out, is this guy connected to that mysterious lord? Yuan's family is at the party, and he knows this isn't the place for them, not with what's about to go down. So what does he do? He pulls off a genius move. Yuan secretly drops a ring into his aunt's bag, a ring he actually bought himself. Then he calls the security team and tells them, hey, those two women just stole a ring from a jewelry store. The guards move in and stop his aunt and his sister, ready to search their stuff. They ask Yuan if they should call the police, but he tells them nope, just escort them out of the building. That's all he needs. See, Yuan isn't being cold, he's protecting them, trying to get them out before the chaos begins. But then comes a twist. Manager Chang, who just so happens to be Xiaoyu's boyfriend, shows up. He stops the guards and says, let me handle this. He brings the family into his office, apologizes because he was the one who invited them, and tells them to just stay there until the ceremony ends. So yeah, Yuan's plan got interrupted a bit, but it still works. As long as they stay inside that office, they're safe. After that, Yuan heads to the bathroom and changes into his fighting gear. Because let's be real, he needs to move fast and fight hard, and his suit isn't made for that. Now remember those two weirdos? The rat-looking guy and the girl with horns who were spying on Yuan earlier? They're still here. The rat guy pops up and tells Yuan they'll be waiting in the garden. Yuan's not having it. He summons his iron staff and tries to smack him from a distance, but the rat's fast and disappears. Then he uses telepathy, and Yuan hears his voice echoing in his head, directing him toward the garden. And now Yuan's mad. Like, how do these two even know who he is? It's starting to get personal. Meanwhile, the horned girl is watching from afar, calm and quiet. Yuan activates the Eye of Insight, checking her out with his ability, and sees that she has no killing intent toward him. That's when it clicks. This might be Funeral Banshee Shali. So now Yuan's got no choice. He follows her, hoping to get some answers. She leads him into a strange, empty room, and right away, something feels off. The air's heavy, and the whole space feels unreal. Suddenly, a giant dragon appears, massive and intimidating. Yuan doesn't hesitate. He pulls out the slaughter long sword and charges, aiming to take it down. But just as he's about to strike, the dragon vanishes, and standing in its place, the horned girl, blocking his attack. Yuan's clashing with the horned girl, and just as he's about to counter her next move, the giant Buddha statue suddenly appears in front of him, arms wide open, ready to clap him to death. Yuan instantly switches his weapon to red iron, stretches it high into the air to dodge the incoming slam, and lands a clean hit right on the statue's head. The second he touches it, boom, it vanishes, and the horned girl shows up again. Looks like all these creatures are coming from her ability. While they're still fighting, the rat guy chimes in, saying they're not trying to hurt Yuan. But let's be real, this doesn't look friendly at all. The girl's already summoned a massive whale charging at Yuan. Without wasting time, he switches weapons again, preparing to counter. As he fights, the rat guy explains that when Yuan broke into the general stage, a connection was formed between them. He says if Yuan focuses, he might feel that connection, because they share the same goal. Yuan doesn't stop. He activates Mystic Flame with Velocity Aegis, unleashes a blazing slash, and cuts the whale down. The illusion shatters, and the girl appears again. But she's not done. She summons a giant Cerberus, three-headed and ferocious. Yuan throws his axe, activates the burn effect, then leaps onto the beast's back. Right away, he senses this thing isn't real either. Again, it's the girl's ability. So he keeps pressing her until she's forced to stop the illusion. As soon as she lands, Yuan moves in an instant and appears right behind her, delivering a fatal strike. But right before the hit connects, the rat guy uses his inverse ability, teleporting her behind Yuan instead. Then the rat guy finally steps forward. The test is over. Meet Zhongjian, also known as the Speaking King. He's ridiculously confident, says he's the most handsome and doesn't accept any opposing opinions. The girl with him is Wang Shi, his partner, and she can't speak. Yuan uses his eye of insight on her and sees she has a special contract, one that's really old and mysterious. Right now, even the eye of insight can't crack its full details. Zhongjian drops the real reason they're here. Yuan's spiritual energy has traces of a lord's aura, specifically referring to Jui, the 10th king. For now, Zhong and Wang Shi accept Yuan as Jui's successor, but there's a catch. Yuan's aura has a cold, killing energy, and they want to bring him to someone who can confirm the source of that aura. After that, they plan to help him achieve his destiny. But Yuan still doesn't trust them. He's ready to fight again. That's when Zhong warns him, at his current level, he has no chance against both of them. To prove the point, Wang Shi loads a crossbow and fires. Yuan deflects the arrow, and suddenly fire bursts across the room. But here's the thing, the fire has no heat. Before they leave, Zhong hands Yuan a spiritual orb, a sign of good faith. Yuan checks it with the eye of insight and confirms it. No poison, no traps. Just pure spiritual energy. That's when it hits him. These two really don't want to harm him. Even the fire is part of the illusion. And just like the monsters earlier, this is Wang Shi's specialty, illusions. The ceremony begins. Charlie, also known as the funeral banshee, stands in front of everyone and starts by thanking them, not just for being here tonight, but for their years of support to Night Beauty Biotech and to herself. Then she gets straight to the main event. A screen lights up, showing a photo of her from 3 years ago, taken for a business magazine cover. And remember, she was 51 years old at the time of that photo. Then, the screen plays a video of her receiving a biotech award, same age 51. But here's the thing. In the second video, she looks younger, more natural, barely any makeup, and everyone in the room is stunned. How? What happened? She shows a recent live stream from just 1 week ago. She looks even younger than before, yet she's still the same age. That's when she reveals why she gathered all these global elites tonight. She's here to introduce their latest product, something they've been developing and testing for 3 years. And you better remember this name, because it's going to play a huge role in what's coming. The product is called Beauty's Heart, and this is its 9th generation. According to her, it starts working just 1 week after use. It comes in 2 forms, a consumable and a cream. Charlie adds that they use the latest biotech, including rare ingredients like deep-sea pearls and herbs, which is why they can't produce a lot of it. Because of how expensive it is and the low profit margin, they're choosing to sell it through a targeted system for the next 3 years. Now, while she's speaking, Yuan is already on the move. Using the Eye of Insight, he finds out that Shali is guarded by 4 generals from the Legion group, and if you count her too, that's 5 generals total. Also, here's something big, Shali is from the Blood Viper group, a rare type, and when people from a rare group get a superior evolutionary element destined factor, they can push past their level limits. Right now, she's at level 3, but with evolution, she could get even stronger. Oh, and don't forget she has 2 horns, but only super beings can see them. Back to the stage, Shali invites everyone to sign a contract and receive 1 free set of Beauty's Heart before the ceremony ends. She says they don't care about money. What they want is their influence, fame, and network to help promote the product. Besides the free sample, there are 50 open slots for people to buy the product, but it's first come, first serve, and the terms will be discussed later in the conference room. For now, she tells everyone to enjoy the party. Yuan realizes just how risky it is to make a move now, with 4 generals surrounding her. He needs to plan carefully. Then the camera shifts to a man who already tried the product, and something's off. He starts mumbling weirdly, like his brain's been tampered with. Still, people keep lining up to test the product. A servant lady explains that they don't have enough supply in this room, and they'll need 20 minutes to bring in more from storage. She then walks into the conference room, where she meets Secretary Een. She tells him the crowd has been handled, and she'll go collect the new batch. As they talk, Een starts sniffing around, catching a weird but pleasant scent. Guess who's in the vents? Yuan. He's up in the ventilation shaft, spying on them. He figures out the products are being delivered from storage, and more importantly, Those who consume the product start acting strange. That confirms it. The whole operation revolves around this product. So Yuan decides the best solution is to secretly destroy all of it. But now there's a problem. Ying keeps sniffing and suddenly realizes the scent is coming from the vents. At the same time, another general-level person shows up, Xiaoying. She's there to give Ying a replacement product, since his lost connection with the maternal body. At that moment, Yuan makes his move. He jumps down, trying to sneak attack Ying, but Ying dodges. Yuan quickly throws his mystic axe, activating the burn effect to stop both of them from escaping or alerting the others. Then, Ying spits out a needle-shaped substance from his mouth. Yeah, it's as dangerous as it sounds. If it touches you, your body melts. But Yuan's ready. He pulls out his sword and deflects it. Now the door is sealed, and Yuan's in a room with two generals. But hey, this is Yuan we're talking about. Always sharp, always prepared. Ying shoots out 3 more needles, deadly as ever, but Yuan doesn't flinch. He slashes through them like paper using his sword. Then without wasting a second, he dashes forward to counterattack. Ying tries to jump and dodge, but Yuan switches it up, pulling out his iron staff, extends the reach, and cracks Ying right in the jaw. But Yuan's not done. He moves in for another strike, but here comes Xiaoying, jumping in to interfere. She activates her ability, and suddenly her skin starts glowing, bright enough to blind both Yuan and Ying. While that's happening, Ying and Xiaoying start talking through telepathy. He tells her, destroy the thing inside the can. He's talking about the product. If it gets destroyed, others might notice something's wrong and come check. Then, he shows his true form, and yeah, he looks like a talking cockroach. Now things are getting tricky for Yuan. If he touches E, his skills will melt off. If he opens his eyes, Xiaoying will blind him again. It's a tight spot, or so they thought. He launches another round of needles, but this time, Yuan uses one of his prestige points. What does that do? It lets him share the Eye of Insight's basic ability for 3 hours. That means he doesn't need to open his eyes anymore to see. With his vision restored through the Eye of Insight, Yuan blocks the needles, switches to the Aegis shield, and slams E with it. Then he follows up with a combo of weapons, switching fast, attacking from different angles, not letting up. And just like that, he is defeated. Xiaoying rushes in, about to destroy the product, but Yuan appears right behind her, fast and silent. Before she can react, he puts her to sleep. But it's not over yet. From the can, a bug tries to escape, crawling its way out. Yuan spots it, grabs it, and activates the king's command. Now, with that skill active, Yi and Xiaoying become Yuan's loyal subordinates, no more betrayal. Zhang, one of the generals, was walking around when he suddenly saw what looked like a little girl, lost and confused. But the moment she turned around, boom, she transformed into a monster. Zhang freaked out and punched it. But right after the punch, the illusion vanished. That's when he realized he was being played. Wang Shi, the master of illusions, wasn't done. She threw out another illusion Medusa this time. Zhang didn't hesitate, punched it again, illusion gone. And just like clockwork, a vampire appeared next. Same reaction, Zhang punches it, and again, it disappears. But things started getting serious when another general, Manhua, showed up. Now both of them were trapped inside the room. Wang Shi had used her illusions to trap them, making them fight each other without knowing what's real. During their chaotic fight, Zhang lost an arm, but since he's a super being, he regenerated it like it was nothing. Manhua, seeing things were getting out of hand, told Zhang something important. He has the maternal body with him, and if anything happens to it, they're all screwed. So, to protect it, Manhua swallowed the maternal body, keeping it safe inside his stomach. Then Manhua activated his special ability, Flower Mode. His whole body roots itself into the ground, making him super hard to destroy. The energy he gives off releases a special scent that can cancel out illusions, so their people won't be affected anymore. But there's a big downside: he'll fall into eternal sleep, unable to wake up on his own. Before shutting down, he tells Zhang to escape and go find Shali. As Zhang runs toward the door, Wang Shi shows up behind Manhua, trying to strike him down, but her attack gets blocked. Then we hear Zhong Jian. He tells her to stop Zhang immediately, because Zhang's interacted with things outside the illusion, and if he escapes through that door, it's game over. Right at that critical moment, Yuan appears, striking Zhang just in time before he escapes. Thanks to the Eye of Insight, Yuan could see everything even through walls, and track spiritual energy movements. Without missing a beat, Yuan unleashes a combo of weapons, defeats Zhang, and absorbs his spiritual energy. Zhong Jian watches all this, stunned by Yuan's ability to make enemies submit to him, but there's no time for questions. Yuan quickly lays it out. Shali is lying to everyone. That product she's giving out? It's got a bug inside, and once someone drinks it, the bug lays eggs. These eggs can control the victim's mind, turning them into tools to spread Shali's influence. She wants humans to offer their spiritual energy willingly, and once that happens, it's over. Yuan also points out the maternal body must be nearby. If they find it, they might be able to shut the whole plan down. That's when Zhong Jian steps in, telling him the maternal body is inside Manhwa. It's safe for now, but getting it out won't be easy. Then he adds, there's an even bigger issue with the eggs. But before he can finish, trouble steps in. Shali herself enters the battlefield. Now that Shali has entered the scene, things are about to get real tough for the squad. Yuan wastes no time. He activates the king's command and turns Zhang into his loyal servant. That means Yuan now controls 3 generals, plus he's got Wang Shi and Zhong Jian on his side. With the whole squad ready, Yuan tells Zhang to attack Shali first. He needs to figure out what kind of power she's hiding. Zhang strengthens his body and dashes straight at her, fist ready, but Shali just swings her tail, taps the ground, an earth cage shoots up and crushes Zhang on the spot. It looked like it was over, but hold on, Zhang's not done yet. He's got an ability called Recovery Rebirth, so when his adult body gets destroyed, he comes back, as a small child. Shali wasn't about to let him live, though. She tries to crush him again using the same move. But before she could, Wang Shi steps in, using her illusion power to summon a swordswoman charging straight at Shali. Shali quickly manipulates the ground again, raising an earth pillar under her feet and shattering the illusion. Wang Shi then goes for a sneak attack, but it fails. Shali's about to counter her when Zhong Jian saves the day, using his inverse technique to swap their positions just in time. Shali realizes that Zhong Jian's ability is seriously annoying, so she tries to trap him too using the earth prison, but he reacts fast and uses inverse again, holding off the crushing walls. Yuan tries to attack next, but Shali easily blocks it and then counters, hitting both Yuan and Wang Shi at the same time. That's when Zhong Jian opens up a telepathic chat channel for the squad so they can coordinate without speaking. Yuan tells him to add the other generals to the channel, and once they're in, he gives out the plan. He is told to get his poison needles ready and aim for Shali. Xiaoying is instructed to hide quietly in a corner, waiting for the signal. Then something unexpected happens. Wang Shi fires an arrow at Yuan. But don't worry, it's a buff arrow. Once Yuan breaks it, he gains the boost from it. As Shali pushes Wang Shi back, Yuan charges from behind, and to make things even cooler, he transforms his appearance into Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. Shali sees this monkey coming at her and thinks it's just another illusion. Nope, she got it wrong. The moment she made contact with the monkey's staff, boom, Yuan appeared. Remember that buff arrow from Wang Shi? Well, thanks to that, Yuan now takes on the appearance of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, just to confuse Shali even more. Wang Shi jumps back into, disguising herself again as that swordswoman illusion from earlier. But even with all that, Shali's not flinching. She's holding her ground like a boss, even while dealing with both Yuan and Wang Shi attacking her from different directions. Yuan gives the signal, he fires his poison needles. But Shali? She casually blocks them and swats away Wang Shi's arrow coming from behind. These little tricks are getting on her nerves, but she's still in control. Yuan and Wang Shi start coordinating their attacks, trying to overwhelm her, but Shali pulls out her Reaper weapon and just blocks everything like it's nothing. She's been holding back this entire time, so she doesn't destroy the entire place. Still, Yuan manages to push her back, and when he does, the earth prison around Zhong Jian vanishes. Zhong doesn't waste time. He asks Yuan to lend him E. Why? He heads over to Manhua, who's still in his eternal sleep state, and tries to use Yi's poison needles to melt down Lao's hardened body to get the maternal body out of him. But it doesn't work. The needles don't even scratch Lao's armor. Zhong's getting desperate. He needs that maternal body now. Here's why. When people drink the product that contains the egg, their consciousness gets taken over. They'll start recruiting others, spreading the guild's influence, gaining more spiritual energy and wealth. And the worst part? That egg inside them will hatch in 3 to 5 years, killing the human host. They have to get the maternal body before it's too late. That's when Shali gets serious. She removes her restrictions, powers herself up, and blasts both Yuan and Wang Shi away. She heads straight for Zhong, ready to kill him and protect Lao. But Zhong reacts fast, using inverse to teleport out of there. Shali changes tactics. She pours her own energy into Lao, and just like that, he wakes up from eternal sleep. But it doesn't stop there. That power-up triggers something crazy. Lao goes into evolution and transforms into two separate people. Yup, it's the twin transformation. Zong's getting frustrated because Lao and his sister won't reveal who has the maternal body inside them. Yuan, being Yuan, uses his eye of insight to try and find it. But nope, he can't spot it. However, what he does learn is that Lao and his sister share their senses, power, and even some organs. So, if one of them dies, the other will too. That gives Yuan a plan. He tells the team to take on Lao and his twin while he focuses on Shali. Now, Yuan's not going in unprepared. He enhances his red iron staff to turn it into a steel whip, and then upgrades his sword, Slaughter, into a blazing light. On top of that, he uses a prestige support feature to lock his level to stage 1 general. But you might be wondering, what does this lock thing do? Let me explain. Earlier, when Yuan was completing his daily and weekly quests, he got a new skill called Prestige Gambling after 21 days of grinding. Here's how it works. It locks his level for a period of time, and when he uses spiritual items, there's a 20 to 30% chance he'll get 3 times the amount of spiritual energy. However, if it fails, he loses some energy. The catch is that if he succeeds, he gets overflowing spiritual energy, which can push him to higher levels. But if it fails, he's stuck losing spiritual energy and even gets downgraded. So, Yuan decided to gamble. He bought multiple spiritual orbs to boost his energy. Fast forward to now. Yuan's in the middle of a battle, trying to hold his ground against Shali and her team. Things aren't going well, so he activates Reward 9, hoping for a lucky break. Then he activates Prestige Gambling, but luck's not on his side, 30% chance failed. His spiritual energy drops, and his level drops to Soldier, Stage 3. And now, he's in a critical moment, with his level lower than expected. No choice but to pull out his trump card. He tells his squad to close their eyes on his signal. Once they do, Xiaoying uses her burst flash, blinding Lao and his sister. But Shali, being the smart one, anticipates this and thinks she's ready. She knows what Xiaoying's capable of. But Yuan's not done yet. Using his upgraded blazing light sword, Yuan turns the tables and uses the same blinding flash ability that Xiaoying just used, throwing off Shali's predictions. Now that Shali is blinded, she starts swinging wildly left and right. Furious that she actually fell for that trick, Yuan's heart is pounding hard, and he doesn't even know why. Something feels off, like something big is about to happen. On top of that, he's still worried about the punishment from failing the prestige gambling skill earlier. But this is the moment. With the enemy still blinded, this is their best chance to end the fight. Wang Shi and Zong charge at Lao and his sister, but then Lao unleashes a new ability. He starts channeling this insanely loud, annoying sound that messes with everyone's focus. Lao's sister doesn't waste the opportunity. She goes in for Wang Shi, but Wang manages to block. Lao strikes at Zong, but Yuan jumps in with his golden steel and saves him just in time. Now Lao shifts his target to Xiaoying, and just when it looks like she's in danger, Zhang, whose body is halfway recovered, jumps in and saves her. Yuan knows this is his window. He has to take down Shali now before she breaks free and enters berserk mode, because once she does, no one will be able to stop her. Yuan dashes forward, heart racing faster and faster. This has never happened to him before. Something's definitely going on. So he checks Jui. It turns out Prestige Reward 9 is active. Its effect? Keep using skills to trigger a lucky reward. Since he's been non-stop using skills, his luck stat spikes, and just like that, his spiritual trade rank jumps to Artisan. Because of that insane luck boost, the failed prestige gambling skill from earlier is now kicking in and showing its true power. His spiritual energy starts surging like crazy, and as he breaks Shali's Reaper weapon, it keeps rising. He rockets all the way back up to General Level 3. But it doesn't stop there. Because he used spiritual orbs while that skill was active, he's getting triple the spiritual energy now. Then, with one clean slash, Yuan actually damages Shali. That's right, after all her dominance, she finally takes a hit. And that's not all. Yuan earns 1 prestige point for completing the mission, and on top of that, he completes a special hidden mission. That unlocks the Adept Courage achievement, and then a system window pops up. The assassin profession has just been unlocked, and the system begins applying the profession's new attributes to him. Lao is still going after Zhang, who's busy defending Xiaoying, but then Yuan steps in and slashes Lao, protecting both of them. Over on the other side, Wang Shi is holding her ground against Lao's sister, holding it down like a champ. But this is when things start getting really intense. Shali, who just got injured, finally reveals her true form. She grabs E and sucks out all his spiritual energy. Now she's split into two personalities, herself and this terrifying monster version. Using the Eye of Insight, it's confirmed. Shali is now a Stage 1 commander and fully in berserk mode. That means this battle just hit a whole new level. Then she grabs Lao, who's already badly injured, and devours him. Not only does she heal herself completely, but now she's also taken the maternal body inside her, which means she's now its protector. That changes everything. Yuan throws out an idea. Why not just kill her along with the maternal body? If they do that, then the eggs implanted inside humans will also die, and people will no longer be under control. They could end the whole mission right here. But Zong stops him. He explains that if the maternal body dies, it will release an enormous wave of information particles. Those particles will embed themselves into everyone's bodies for a long time, and once that happens, the true owner of the maternal body, elder member Qi Zhong, will use them to track everyone down and kill them. This basically confirms it. Qi Zhong is one of the 9 kings that Yuan needs to defeat, and probably one of the strongest. Then Shali takes it even further. She uses Lao's eye, and now she can share senses with Lao's sister, who's still fighting. That means they're perfectly coordinated. And on top of that, Lei now has wings, which just added a whole new level of trouble to the battlefield. Wangxi, the girl we all thought couldn't speak, she actually can. This is the first time Yuan hears her voice, and he's caught off guard. He wonders, wait, did she just figure out the enemy's weakness or something? But nope, she was just mad. She spoke out of pure frustration because she wanted to attack first. Right after that, Wangxi fires an arrow straight at Shali, but Shali freezes the air itself, shattering the arrow mid-flight. Then she follows up by launching multiple ice spears. Both Yuan and Wangxi manage to block them, but Shali keeps channeling her freezing ability. That's when Yuan realizes, if he gets too close, she might even freeze the oxygen around him. While dodging and smashing incoming ice spears, he figures out something important. His light blade might actually be able to cut through her skin. Then Shali uses her tail to strike, but Yuan sidesteps and counters, slicing the tail into pieces. The problem? Her tail splits into multiple tails and all of them attack at once. But Yuan isn't shaken, he blocks them all. That's when Lei jumps in to kick him, but he blocks her attack too. Right after that, Wangxi dashes in and slams Lei, buying them a moment. Shali quickly heals her tail, but Yuan's already behind her, ready to strike. Shali has eyes at the back of her head, literally. She's got no blind spots, so even with Yuan's insane speed, he still can't land a clean hit. Wangxi is holding her ground against Lei, and then she fires another arrow, but this one bursts into 4 smaller arrows, each one attached to a thread. They wrap Lei up, locking her in place. Then Wangxi pulls herself and using the threads, turning Lei into a flying bug she can ride. She's planning to use this moment to cast another massive illusion. Wangxi wasn't holding back anymore. She forcefully dragged Lei toward this strange purple torch. Turns out, this torch was messing with her illusions, making them useless. So right before crashing into it, Wangxi summoned her Dragon Fang, jumped over Lei, and sliced the torch clean in half. Right after that, she pulled out a Dragon Stone, activated her ultimate move, Divine Grand Phantasm, and just like that, the entire battlefield turned into an illusion field. But this was the 3rd time she used this power, which meant her spiritual energy was running dangerously low, close to hitting its limit. While all this was happening, Zhang was still defending Yi and Xiaoying, making sure they stayed safe. Yuan kept blocking wave after wave of ice spears coming at him, still locked in a tough fight. Lei suddenly saw a giant cat appear in front of her. Even though she knew deep down it was fake, she still ran away in fear. Lei saw Shali as a giant snake, and Shali saw Lei as a giant eagle. Totally confused, Shali panicked and attacked Lei, thinking she was an enemy. Wangxi took this chance and finished Lei off for good. But the cost was heavy. Wangxi was completely burned out from using the illusion field so many times. She couldn't even move, let alone dodge the next incoming attack. That's when Yuan switched weapons, pulling out his golden steel whip, and snapped it forward, catching Shali's hand mid-attack. He stopped her just in time. Yuan had Shali locked down for a second, but she still had one hand free and tried to reach Wangxi. That's when Zong jumped in, activated Halt, and slowed Shali's movements just enough. But even with that, she took one step forward and whipped her tail toward Wangxi. Even though she was out of breath and barely hanging on, Wangxi still managed to block most of the hits, but as she tried to dash away, she caught a minor injury on her knee. Zong didn't waste a second. He stepped in, created a shield, and covered both himself and Wang Shi. Yuan saw the opening, dashed in to attack, and thanks to Wang Shi's active illusion, Shali couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't. Even Zhang was helping, keeping her locked in place just long enough. Yuan used his sword's ability to blind her, then unleashed the blazing light slash, injuring Shali hard. But she wasn't going down that easy. She healed instantly and snapped into full frenzy mode, turning the entire surrounding air into frozen death. The cold just kept building, stronger and stronger by the second. Zong tried to heal Wang Shi's knee, but her injury wasn't healing at all. Instead, her blood started leaking out and turning into something like sand. Zong quickly figured it out and warned Yuan, "Don't get cut. Her wounds turn blood into sand, and it won't heal." Too late. Yuan already had a cut on his face. He knew now that fighting her up close was risky, and trying to ambush her was out of the question. Fighting her head-on wasn't going to work either. Yuan thought about using his stealth profession, but it was still waiting to fuse with the attributes. The whole area is freezing over, and as long as Shali's alive, the bleeding won't stop. Everyone's injured or low on energy, only Yuan can still fight. It's now or never. Do they keep pushing forward or escape while they can? Shali's going crazy, smashing into Zong's barrier with enough power to nearly break it. Yuan dashed behind her, went in for the attack, but it didn't work. Without Wang Shi's illusion backing him up, there was no opening, nothing he could exploit. Every move was blocked. He kept dodging her attacks, weaving between strikes, and made his way to Zong. He handed Zong a bag full of spiritual orbs, told him to distribute them to everyone so they could recover their strength. While Zong ran to help the others, Yuan was still holding the front line, dodging, blocking, moving nonstop. He hated the idea of running away. They came too far. He couldn't just quit now. Then it hit him. The orb Zong gave him earlier, the one that was different. It was bigger than the usual ones and had this weird leaf symbol Yuan had never seen before. So, with no other options left, he used it. Suddenly, a joker popped up in front of him. No hesitation, Yuan slashed it down in one hit, absorbing its spiritual energy. Turns out, Zong created the joker by fusing fragments of spiritual energy from multiple super beings. He meant it as a prank. But for Yuan, that was the exact trigger he needed. His assassin profession finally activated. All of his attributes fused, and just like that, Yuan switched from warrior to assassin. His whole form changed. The new profession bonded with the Hidden Cloud Group's special costume, boosting his agility and giving him stealth abilities. But that's not all. He unlocked a new weapon too, Night Claw Duel, a pair of deadly daggers. And to top it off, he got the Weapon Master achievement, which means he can now use every single warrior weapon out there. Thanks to all that intense underwater training, where he'd stay still for as long as possible holding his breath, he can now use stealth without any issues. He activates it. Just like that, his aura and sound disappear, making him completely invisible, though it burns through a ton of spiritual energy. And as long as he doesn't breathe out, the effect stays active. Shali's losing it. She can't see him, can't sense him, but she knows something's coming. In a panic, she goes all out, firing ice particles in every direction across the field. But Yuan's already behind her. He strikes her left tail, stabbing it with his new dagger. That hit causes paralysis and numbness. He deactivates stealth for a quick breath, blocks her incoming ice barrage, then vanishes again, going stealth once more. Then he hits her right tail, same result, paralyze and numb. He doesn't stop there. Yuan follows up with his blazing light slash, injuring both her arms and legs. That's when Shali snaps, full-blown frenzy mode. This time, she's not holding back. She's about to launch a technique that could destroy the entire area. But Yuan? He's already a step ahead. He was waiting for this moment. Now here's the twist. Yuan couldn't just kill her outright, not with the maternal body still inside her. So he made a different plan. Remember that blazing sword slash from earlier? All that light energy she absorbed from it, it didn't vanish. It just stayed inside her, waiting. So the second she heals her wounds, boom, that energy explodes inside her body. She's down. Yuan wins. And most importantly, the maternal body is safe and untouched. Yuan picks up the maternal body and absorbs Lao's spiritual energy. Shali finally reverts back to her normal form and collapses to the ground. The rest of the group starts healing their wounds, thanks to the spiritual orbs Yuan gave them. Even Wang Shi, tough as she is, walks up to Yuan and calls him one of the strongest humans she's ever met. Suddenly, the stone door nearby begins to crumble, and right through it, Yuan's family steps in. But it's bad. His aunt's husband collapses, and both his aunt and little sister Xiaoyu are barely hanging on. His aunt starts apologizing, saying she knows she wronged him, but begs him to save Xiaoyu because she's pregnant. Yuan's confused. It should take years for the eggs to hatch inside humans. That's when Zong jumps in, explaining that normally, yes, that's true. The eggs are designed to control the host, not kill it quickly by draining lifespan. Then suddenly it hits him, Matryoshka. He remembers how the maternal body had 3 layers wrapped around it, probably cutting off its air. So the eggs, thinking the maternal body was under attack, started accelerating the hatching process by draining human lifespan. Now Yuan's family is dying, and the only way to stop it is to destroy the maternal body. But Zong gets furious, warning him that doing that will make King Qizhong chase them to the ends of the earth, and they're nowhere near strong enough to face him yet. Yuan then admits something real. During the fight with Shali, he actually thought about running away, leaving everyone behind to die. His emotions were fading, and he started believing that sacrifices were just necessary to achieve goals. But looking at his aunt, despite all the pain she caused, he remembered how she still took care of him for 3 years. And now, as she's dying in front of him, he sees nothing but his family's smiles, and that's when he realizes he's still human. So he destroys the maternal body. The moment he does, all the information inside it shoots into everyone on the field, and every person who drank the product and got infected with eggs. They start vomiting the eggs out, they're saved. Then Shali wasn't done yet. She suddenly dashes for the exit, trying to escape. But out of nowhere, Luo arrives just in time, stopping her cold. Yuan absorbs her spiritual energy and activates King's command. He chooses to kill her. At that exact moment, Jui appears and completely wipes Shali from existence. But this time, Yuan still has control over his body, even with Jui fully present. Jui explains that 3 years ago, the 9 kings broke the seal, which activated him as a correction mechanism and caused all kinds of disasters, including the one Yuan was involved in. Because of that, Jui ended up residing inside Yuan's body. Now that Yuan is strong enough to handle Jui's soul and will without losing his humanity, Jui says he trusts Yuan to defeat the 9 kings and restore this world. With that, he transfers all his power to Yuan, leveling him up to commander rank. Right then and there, the location and details of the 9 kings show up on Yuan's phone. Now Yuan's mission is clear: track down the 9 kings, absorb their spiritual energy, steal their abilities, and bring the world back to what it was. But this time, he's not alone. He has allies. He's the hope of humanity. And just like that, my friend, this story comes to an end. As for Season 2, you can check out what the author said in the picture here.